Okay, question B. The medical researcher realises her data is from the year 2000. She repeats her investigation with a random sample of 13 countries using new data from the year 2020. She produces the following graph. Okay, now that graph looks totally different. So part B says, how should the researcher interpret the new data in the light of the data from 2000? 2 marks. So we can first of all state the obvious, that the scatter diagram looks totally different now in 2020 compared to the 2000 scatter graph, okay, where the year 2000 data seems to be showing a correlation, okay, and we can use the word positive there because it definitely was showing a positive correlation, whereas in 2020 it feels like there is no correlation at all, maybe even a very slight downward trend, but that's possibly only because we've only got a random sample of 13 countries there. Okay, so first of all we need a comment on the difference. You know, I'm not going to dictate what wording you're going to use here. Okay, as long as you write a comment on the difference and the 2 types of correlation or not correlation that it looks like you're getting, okay. But then for the second mark, it's really a comment on actually what else can you observe, okay. It's not very certain, it's quite ambiguous. What we've got is many possible things we could say, okay. We could say, for example, that it could be that the 13 countries that we were using here are not the same countries that were involved in the first set of data, okay. So it could be to do with the different samples and the different countries leading to different conclusions. It could be that 20 years on, the rate of that disease, the link between it has vanished, okay. Between the disease and the sugar consumption, maybe the link has vanished. It might be that actually the first one was a coincidence that showed correlation and actually there isn't any link between the two and there might be a different cause, okay, and it was a coincidence that the first one showed correlation, okay. It could have been, I don't know, something going on with the ingredients in people's diets 20 years earlier compared to 20 years into the future. It could be that there's better medical care now in 20 years' time, so the rate of the disease is less. Do you see what I mean? There's so many different things you could say, okay? There's very little you could probably write down that wouldn't gain a mark as long as you made some sort of sensible comment, okay? So there isn't anything specific as an answer they are looking for here. They just want you to use a little bit of brain power and think of something sensible that you can write down, which is actually a bit disconcerting. You're expecting, oh, there should be a correct answer in maths, but these sorts of questions, there is not one correct answer. There's lots of good answers that you could give, okay? So you have to be ready for that in stats and be aware that there's plenty of possible answers that you can probably give, as long as you don't say something completely ridiculous, okay?